Hi, I'm Steve Shelburne, owner and operator of Shelburne RV, here in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee. All right, good morning from Shelburne RV. So we're gonna get going this morning. We've got this Phaeton right here that's got a generator issue. I'm gonna take you around and look at that. And then we've got this Airstream over here. I'll take you around and show you what's going on with that. And then Mr. Lewis is doing a Sealtech on a Monaco that we worked on the slide a few weeks ago. We're gonna take a look at that here in a minute. But let's go take a look at this generator and I'll show you what's going on with it. Okay, so I got this 7,500 watt diesel generator that came in. Customer says it's throwing a code 11. Now I want to reproduce this code, but the problem has been I can't get the gen set to run. Now I'm going to show you right here. We're primering it, and you won't be able to hear it, but I can hear the fuel pumps actually pulling fuel, or so we think it's pulling fuel. It's not cladding, making a bunch of cladding noise like it would if it didn't have any fuel. So it is pulling something. And then if we start it, pump is priming. So definitely acts like it's not getting fuel. So what we're going to start with is all the fuel connectors are on the back side. Brandon has got his fuel tank right there, his diesel fuel tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook a auxiliary tank to it first and see if we can get it to start that way. If it'll start and run there, then we know we've got a fuel supply issue back to from the tank to here. If it doesn't, then we know we've got a problem going on with the gen set. So we're going to start with that first. So I'm back here in the body shop, and you can see the wall, the rear wall off of a Montana. We had some damage and it was actually pulling away from the end of the camper. So Zach's been back here working on this, and you can see a little bit of place up here where the water's been coming in. Of course, some spots over here, and it's actually had some water right there. So we're gonna pull all this insulation out of there, and then we're gonna come in here with this product that we use all the time. This comes to us from our friends at Hills Manufacturing, mold and mildew stain remover. This is an awesome product. So they'll spray all that down right there, and then that'll take care of all that, and they'll go in there and replace the new insulation. But there you go, wall on the back of a Montana fifth wheel. All right, I'm gonna show you this Winnebago Voyager bumper pull camper we got over here. Customer complaint was that he had no brakes. This is what we call excessive greasing. So you've seen in our other videos, when you grease to this hub right here, you want to stop. When you start seeing grease starting to move in there, you got to stop. This is what happens when you excessively grease this. Now, there's no way, time-wise, that we could clean that and make it effective for the customer. So we're actually going to replace that whole backing plate, and then we'll have to come in here and we can clean this drum up and do all that. But yeah, that's excessive greasing. Okay, so did a little update on this 7,500 kW Cummins generator. You saw a little bit ago when we were trying to start it, it was cranking and cranking and cranking and wouldn't start. There was actually an inline fuel filter on the chassis of this coach. And so we went in there and changed that and was able to get it primed up. And so now we've got that running correctly. So we're back here working on this Winnebago Voyager bumper pull camper. Customer brought it in, stated that the hot water heater was not making hot water and that heat element was bad. So we got to diagnosing this, and when everything's good and the board tells the electric heat element to come on, it sends 12 volts on this yellow wire back to a relay that is mounted back behind by the heat element. Well, we checked here to verify our 12 volts, went to the heat element relay, and we had 12 volts there. So then I had them check for 120 volt power at the relay. We had power there. So obviously have a bad relay for the hot water heater. So Mr. James is back here working on this, and you can see he is fully involved in the back of this, trying to get the relay in there. And then typically what I do, because it's the easiest thing to do, is I come over here with my clamp on meter, and once all this is good, I check my amp draw at the breaker. I should have 11.5 amps at the breaker. If I do, then we know that's good.
All right, I'm going to show you a little video that I took of an Atwood furnace making a bunch of clicking noise. Customer brought it in, said the fan wouldn't shut off, and it just making a terrible noise. And you'll see from the video, I should have took a little better video of me explaining what it was doing, but I just ran out of time. But you'll hear the relay on the board just click, 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 click. And so once we took the board off and got to looking at it, it actually had water that had migrated in and gotten on the back of the board and shorted the board out. Now the bezel on the outside that retains the furnace in the coach actually had no sealant around it, and so the water was getting in there that way and it shorted the board out. And so that was what was going on with that. But I wanted to tell you about that. So I'm going to show you that video now. Back here checking on this rear wall that they've been working on this camper, and you can see Zach's pretty much got it framed up. So get that glued on there. You see he's got a little bit of trim work to do. He just kind of gets it close, that way he can get everything glued on and then start trimming out the window frame. But coming along very nicely. All right, so another project we're working on out here is this Montana right here. Customer brought this in and stated that this rear jack right here is dropping while he's driving down the road. So we've gotten looking at this, and you can see we've got a seal. It's actually a seal blowed out right there. So that's going to be, unfortunately with LCI, that's a replacement jack. So we're going to get that ordered to put on there. So I was gone for a couple days last week, and Zach's got this, you remember this Arctic Wolf that we were working on that had the back damage that got hit by the pole at the gas station. So he's got all this finished up. You can see he's got everything back installed, got the new J-wrap bent, put back on there. You saw all this was missing. This fascia was all destroyed. Got the new fascia on there. Got the new J-wrap put on there. So you can see that turned out real nice, but I didn't catch that before it got out of the body shop. So just a little touch up on that one. So Brandon and James are changing out spring assembly on an 8500 Dometic awning assembly. Now these things are not that hard to change out, but if you look at this spring right here, there's a lot of power in that right there. And these, if you don't get a good bite on them, this will spin around and break your hand. So you got to be very careful when we do that. So they got that spring they're going to be changing out. They got to get that done. And then Mr. Lewis over here under this awning, he's got that J-Flight Swift. You saw that couple videos ago where we put a new roof on this one. But he's got an awning fabric that he's got to change out on this. Now this one here, the one on the trailer you just saw is a mechanical. This one here is powered. So it's got a powered motor up inside there that runs everything in and out. But this end down here actually has one of those big old long springs in there. And if you can look real carefully right there, you can see where Lewis has got a pin going through there to keep the tension from keep that thing from unwinding. So he's got that pin, and because that side has a motor in it, it won't do that. So now that he's got that pin, we're gonna pull this off, change the fabric out, put it back together, pull that tension out of that pin, and we won't have to reset the tension on that. So that's what we got kind of going on this morning. All right, out here working a little R-Pod, doing a Sealtech on this little camper. And first thing we noticed, obviously got actually got a leak right there. And then we had a leak coming out right here. There was air blowing out here, obviously leaking here, leaking around that, leaking around the top of the door. Yep, leaking through the door. So all these covers, you can see the bubbles leaking right there. We got leaks going on right here. So all this trim is going to have to be resealed. You can see that bubble's leaking pretty good right there. These are the problems that are almost impossible to find unless you had a Sealtech machine to do this, because they're going to go across this whole thing and there's no telling. So far, we found a whole bunch of leaks. All right, so our next video we're going to show you here is we got an 8 kW generator that came in for a 1,000-hour service. And as you can see, this thing is kind of nasty. And so obviously the 1,000-hour service, water pump, hoses, temp sensor, you know, the normal stuff. But what we kind of found out is, if you can kind of see, looks like the valve cover, look how nasty that thing is. Looks like the valve cover gasket is leaking. So we're going to get this all pressure washed out, and then I'm going to get a valve cover gasket ordered for it. And then Lewis is going to get all the 1,000-hour service done on it. But we'll show you more as we go through this.
Coming out of 440 going into Cummins.
So you guys saw this one, this little Voyager that we did, the Winnebago Voyager that had the backing plate that was bad on this wheel right here. Well, the customer left out with it the other day, and one of the wheels, that one right there, lug nut came loose and lost the wheel going down the road. So hopefully you guys have seen the video a week or so ago that I did on maintaining lug nut wheels on aluminum rims. If you haven't, go back and watch that. But yeah, we got that one there. Got to get the J-Rat finished up on and get that finished up. That's what we got going on that. Came in late yesterday. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. Got a lot going on here, and we'll show you some more. Remember, this video is Cousin Gary approved.